All right, welcome into this episode of Farz Cast. Farzin, Vousoughian here with you. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. If it's Monday morning when you're listening to this, hope your weekend was good. Man, I'll tell you what, I was looking forward all week to UFC 261, and that's really what's going to be the main part about this podcast here. That was one hell of a night. And got a friend of mine who's going to talk about that with me in just a moment. Real quickly, if you guys want to subscribe to the podcast, if you're a first-time listener, hey, we're everywhere: Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Stitcher, Pandora. Anywhere where you can download a podcast, we should be there. Also on YouTube, and we stream this live on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Farzin Vousoughian. So there are several ways to catch the podcast. So check it out. Share the links with all of your friends. As far as what is going to be coming up, I mentioned Eddie Law. If you guys are watching the video version, you can see him right there. I'll introduce him in just a moment. And then Shane Bishop, who is the producer for Dateline NBC. He's a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, and we connected because of that. He is expected to be on sometime next month. He's been pretty busy with his time. He was in Minneapolis recently for the Derek Chauvin trial. So he's been pretty busy, and I'm sure he's doing a lot of work for Dateline because that just recently wrapped up. So we'll talk to him in the near future, hopefully, as he'll have some free time with all of that wrapped up pretty soon. But not here to talk about that. We're here to talk MMA, UFC in specific with Eddie Law. He is the host of the Keyboards MMA podcast. Also does himself with the Believe podcast network. I've had a lot of people from Believe. I've had Joe Valerio, former Chiefs offensive lineman, Jason Brown, who was on Last Chance U, and Eddie Law, also from Believe. He does the Arizona Cardinals and the University of Arizona podcast with them. And he's on this podcast now joining me. Eddie Law, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, I just recovering off of an amazing return to normal, if you want to call it that, with the crowd, the good and the bad that comes with it. We'll talk about it all, of course. But no, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Sunday. I normally keep myself the hell off social media on the weekends. I devote myself to my kids, but I had to make an exception for my boy Farz.
Oh man, you're too kind. You're too kind. I appreciate that. No, I'm with you on the whole social. Like honestly, outside of football games and MMA, I'm really not on social media a whole lot. I mean, if there's something cool worth posting, I'll do that. But yeah, I try to stay away from social media during weekends because life's too short, man. You gotta get away from the electronics and do some other things, better things, more productive things outside of social media.
Go outside, people. We still got buildings and nice shit to look at.
Yes, especially with the weather getting better. I mean, the weather is always hot where you are.
You know what? It's starting.
So for those who don't know, Eddie, you live in Arizona. What part of Arizona? Are you in Phoenix?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, sir, right in the middle.
What is the coldest day in your life that you have ever experienced? Here? Yeah, in Arizona.
Maybe like 40 at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning when I go to work.
Good Lord,
that's about
man.
as cold as it gets here. And it's like t-shirt and shorts weather here. Shit, at that time.
Kansas is so weird. I mean, the Midwest in general, it's like I'll get one of those like big jackets, those like heavy duty jackets in the mornings just to keep myself warm. And then I'm indoors most of the day when I'm working. And by the time I step out, I'm like, I don't even need this goddamn jacket. It's like, I need shorts right now. Like that's, I mean, people have joked for so many years. I'm sure you've heard it. Like you experience all 4 seasons in one day sometimes. That's the Midwest for you. But
yeah, we got the opposite. We don't have any seasons ever. It's hot or it's cold. It's all you get in Arizona. And honestly, I'm so used to it. I'm cool with it.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you because I have another friend in Arizona. Her name's Sharon. Shout out to Sharon. I did not know this until she told me. You guys don't do daylight savings time in Arizona.
Oh,
so
I do not.
So when everybody is turning their clocks an hour backwards or whatever, you guys just keep it the same.
Right. And it would not affect my life in the least if it wasn't for the show. So we do like the Keyboard Warriors live show on Wednesday nights is always 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, always, right? So that never changes for anybody in the West. For Jesse, who has retired from the show now, but never changed for him. And Fred, who's in Ohio, never changed for him, right? But for me, it changes about an hour because I need to keep up with those guys, right? So I'm not a big fan of telling them, hey, you need to come on later or earlier. So yeah, that's the only reason it affects me. Otherwise, we barely notice it here, like, ever. It's just, for some reason, some Valley like journalist will write an article about it every single time it happens. And we're just sitting here like, dude, who are you informing now, bro? Like, we know we don't do this stuff.
Well, that's like Kansas City. Like Kansas City, for whatever reason, needs to rave about barbecue every 3 months. Like, you're not breaking any news at this point by bragging about this. Like, everyone knows. But the reason I bring up the whole time zone thing is because I've been to Vegas a few times during a UFC event, and I've been to T-Mobile Arena for some of the pay-per-views. It is so weird, man, because here and last night, we'll get to the pay-per-view, but because I don't even think during the pay-per-view portion we even saw the third round. Every fight ended in the first or the second round.
Yep.
And I remember looking at the time, like, wow, it's 11:30. I'm used to it being like 12 or 12:30.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I was in Vegas for a UFC event. And I remember looking at the time when the final fight was over. I'm like, it's 9:50. I'm not used to this. I'm used to it being almost midnight. Like, what do I do with myself during that? What is it like for you? Have you ever watched a pay-per-view on the East Coast, by the way, like physically being on the East Coast that you can recall?
No, never. I've watched a UFC event, not a pay-per-view, an event. I was visiting friends in Chicago, and it happened to be, I forgot what event it was. It wasn't that memorable because I don't remember any of it. But yeah, I was in Chicago, and I know the event ended, and I looked at the clock. It was Chicago time. It was like 1 a.m. I'm like, oh shit, all right, well, that's weird. But here, like, dude, last night I finished with the pay-per-view. I was doing the live tweet coverage for Cape Side Press.
Yeah,
I got done. I was just like, okay, well, baby's asleep, kids are all asleep, wife's asleep. Shit, I got some me time. I fired up PlayStation. I hit up some Call of Duty. I played Call of Duty for literally like till about midnight my time, and I went to bed. It was awesome. So my favorite thing about UFC cards, though, like, it's always a treat when we get the early ones here for us. Yeah. Because I mean, for you, it's like a night. You get done by like 8 o'clock your time, whatever, 7 o'clock, and you get the rest of your night. Here, I get early prelims at breakfast. ESPN prelims are at lunch, and for dinner, and not even dinner, you finish the main card and you go eat dinner, and then you get the rest of your night. It's so great. My favorite. Everyone else complains. My favorite are those early cards because I don't drink very much. So I don't care about drinking during the fights, but I love those the early ones.
My friend Melanie McAllister, who's an author and an educator, she lives in Alaska, and I remember the Chiefs were bad at this time. But they had a game in London, and that game Central Time was on at 8:30. And I always think about her sometimes because she's a huge Chiefs fan. It's like she's 3 hours behind me. So it's like when the Chiefs play a 12 o'clock game, it's like 9 o'clock for her. It's 10 o'clock for you guys whenever a lot of those NFL games kick off. And I remember the last time I've been on vacation, when the Chiefs and Chargers played in week 17 of the 2019 season, their game kicked off at 10 o'clock. I'm like, I am not used to watching a Chiefs game in the morning. Like, that's just so weird to just think about sometimes with these time zones. So
that's why I hate the Cardinals away games. To me, are annoying as shit. Not only because we somehow we have awful luck at 10 a.m. for some reason. Like, because those 145, 125 is about the time we start normal home games, right?
Yeah.
Our time. And when you go East Coast, they keep that time, but it translates. So our guys are playing at 10 a.m. what they're used to it being 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's like, it screws the whole thing up, but it also screws up watching the games. So like, I had to get up early. I'm eating a bowl of cereal. I'm feeding my kid while we're watching the game and shit.
Well, the last thing I'll say, and we'll get into the UFC. One thing I've learned about that is like the announcers. So, for example, if you're like an Arizona Cardinals announcer or a Lakers announcer or Vegas Golden Knights, all teams that are in the Pacific time zone, if you are in the East Coast for a sporting event, you've got to make sure when you're checking what time it is, a lot of them, they will have like on their iPhones another set of clocks so they can just look at that because they're obviously catering to the West Coast audience. They're not obviously catering to anyone so it's weird. It'll be 1 o'clock there, but they have to say, hey, it's 10 a.m. time for kickoff or whatever. So I've never, just the things you think about when it comes to time zones.
It's all, the best guys that do announcing, play-by-play, even the analysts, the best ones you'll ever find are funny or incredibly detailed. Ernie Johnson, incredibly detailed. Pat McAfee, well, people don't want to give him credit, hilarious. Not super detailed, but a great team behind him. But you know what I mean? It's either you're really funny or you're incredibly detailed. And I gotta say, Tony Romo's kind of got both, so it kind of works out.
Yeah. Well, talking about the whole time thing, like I said, last night's UFC card ended so early because we had so many early endings in that stoppage. Man, let's talk about that main event first. I mean, we could start anywhere really, but I guess it makes sense to start with the biggest fight of the night. Look, I thought I picked Masvidal to win that fight. Who did you pick?
I picked Usman.
Okay. See,
I picked Usman.
My thought.
Anybody could have. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't normally get enamored by interviews, but Masvidal gave a really compelling interview with Ariel Helwani on ESPN, and just the things he was saying, I was kind of, and plus this guy's gone through a lot in his career. Like he's really grinded out and had some tough moments. I was really pulling for him. And I like Usman too. It's not that I hate him. I like both guys. I just thought Masvidal had some kind of momentum coming into this fight, and obviously a lot to prove. But man, for Usman to win like that, I think that was, not to say he's not capable of that at all. People just didn't think he was capable of doing it against Masvidal.
Right. So with Masvidal, if you remember the first fight, the 3 days, 6 days, whatever he had, he blitzed him. He blitzed Usman, went right after him, right? And so he got taken down. Usman, and Masvidal said it himself. I expected to have to wrestle a lot more, right? The best champions, in my opinion, will take their opponent's strength and basically beat them with it, right? So Usman came in with the striking. The beautiful part of it, I mean, he could go down to the body with the jabs and all that. He took him down one time and that's it. Masvidal fought like he was waiting for a takedown to happen. It only came once, but it wasn't like the constant barrage of takedowns like last time. So, he just pitter-pattered him for the whole first round. Made it to the second round, throws the jab, but instead of throwing the jab, parries the right hand down. When I saw him do that, I was like, what the fuck? I've never seen anyone do that. Like, I've legit we've trained it in training, but I've never seen someone deliberately, throw the jab, reach around the hand, yank it down for a wide open flush. And dude, if you look at Usman's face when he throws that right hand, all the anger and hate, anguish, blood, tears, joy was so packed in that fist. When it hit Masvidal, his head moved and the sweat just stayed in midair. It was incredible.
You know what that reminded me of? I don't know if you've seen this in basketball games. It happens occasionally where they're going for a loose ball and somebody accidentally gets elbowed in the head and you see all the sweat just pop out. Yeah. That's what I thought of when I saw that. I was like, whoa. I thought Masvidal was sometimes when you have saliva or whatever, I was like, what the fuck was that for a second? But dude. No, man. I mean, that was a vicious hit jab right there, and that was pretty similar to the one he gave to Gilbert Burns. Is that correct? Yeah, that
was pretty similar to what it did. So well, Gilbert it was kind of the same thing. But Usman, look, you got to give credit to Usman. He owned it. He was at Black Zillions, right? And I don't know that gym ended, whatever, owner. But he moved down with Henry Hoof. And then because of Gilbert Burns, he switched over to Trevor Whitman over in Colorado as the champion already. He left as a champion, left his home gym and moved to Colorado with Trevor Whitman over on Namajunas, Pat Hyper Die, what's his name? Pat Barry, Justin Gaethje, all those guys, right?
Yep.
He left his home camp, moved, and got better at striking. That is a ton. It's hard. That's hard to do as a champion, I feel. You rarely hear of a champion as still champion leaving to go somewhere else to get better. So you got to give Usman a whole lot of credit. And it was just the fact that he got the knockout the way he did, man, against Masvidal, who I think he's been knocked out one other time, but he is, I mean, dude, he hit him really, 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 really hard. And he had to hit him that hard to knock him out. No one's ever hit Masvidal that hard, and he admitted himself.
Did you see that meme from NFL memes? They showed Masvidal, because Masvidal always laughs when someone punches him right in the face, and it shows him smiling. And the caption is, the Atlanta Falcons with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in the third quarter. And then they show them on the ground and they go, Atlanta Falcons fans when the game is over.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that's basically what happened.
You gotta love the internet. The internet's so goddamn creative.
Yes.
Here's a funny thing though about the internet though, because everybody's on it. Like I said, I was doing live tweets with Cape Side Press, and I made a joke that I thought everybody would get, and most people did. I said, so Usman drops him, and he gets on top, starts hammer fisting him, right? And I tweeted out, man, were those hammer fists super necessary? Right? You get it, right? So I put that out there. God damn, if it wasn't a couple of like Masvidal fans who got butthurt, like they were just like, stop being a little bitch, man. He fucking threw hands, whatever. I'm like, bro, did you really whoosh? You're a Masvidal fan and it went over your head. God damn, internet, y'all let me down.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, there are always a couple idiots who just. I can't remember what it was. Oh, so the University of Kentucky, they accidentally accepted like 500,000 applications, and I it's a true story. Really? I wrote a joke saying, "Oh, John Calipari is at it again," and someone commented and goes, "This has nothing to do with Calipari." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really fucking aware. Thank you."
God damn it, people.
Yeah, you don't.
That is good though.
Don't ever address those people. Just don't. No. They're not.
I didn't reply to him. Well, I didn't reply to him because I was on the Cage Side Press Twitter, and I don't know how.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to mess with that. It's their Twitter, and I'm lucky to be part of the team and everything. But had it been my Twitter, I'd have retweeted the shit out of that thing and be like, "Hey, look at this moron!" and just boom, put it out there.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's just with Usman though. A lot of people were avoiding that guy. Like people did not want to fight him, and now it's like if you want to get to the top, this is who you have to fight. And by the way, everyone knows that Colby Covington's the next guy, and I want to get to that in a second. But I don't know if you saw Dana White's interview. He was on TSN with Aaron Bronsoner, or however you say his name. And he basically said, yeah, Colby Covington's the next guy. And that was, that was known for 3 days. But it's like in the press conference, everyone's like, what's next for Kamaru Usman? Is it Colby Covington? Is it a super fight? Is it this? Is it that? Is it? It's like, quit acting like fucking idiots. Like Dana White just said a couple days ago that it's Colby Covington. But everyone wants to like, I think people just want to be like, oh yeah, Dana White told me that it's Colby Covington. It's like,
I love that. Yeah, Colby Covington is next. Per me, Dana White told me personally. Like, okay, here's the thing about it. You notice Luke Thomas no longer ever part of the press pool, but who's always there? Right. John Morgan, who I have respect for, met the guy, super nice. The usual suspects are always part of the press pool over there, right? The UFC's done such a really good job of making sure they don't get people asking them any more real questions at pressers, that you get the same shit every fucking presser. That's why I don't watch press conferences. I watch the post-fight interview with Dana, and then like fighters, right? But as soon as like I'll watch when he says the gate was this, the gate was that, so and so got this, this bonus and all that stuff, and then I stop watching because I can't. Look, man, I was a journalist. I was a legit journalist. I did the job. I have my degree in broadcast journalism, and exactly right. It hurts my soul to hear some of the stupid shit that these motherfuckers get to ask. You get in front of Dana White, and the best question is, "Hey man, what's next for Usman?" Motherfucker, what? Oh my God, please, you're killing me. You're fucking killing me.
My brother and I went to it was not a pre-fight. It was like one of those press conferences where they promote like cards for the future. So it was like Khabib and Dustin Poirier, Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, Max Holloway and Volkanovski, and then there was another title match they were promoting. But anyway, the 8 fighters on the stage. John Morgan, of course, has the first question, and I don't remember what the question was, but I could just hear people behind me. They're like, "Oh, that's such a horrible question." Like, yes, it is.
It's cringy. He has to say, first of all, he asks the same exact question every week. You could always guess what he's going to ask before he asks it. But again, respect for John Morgan. I'm not dissing the guy at all. He worked his ass off to get where he is, and he plays the game to stay in the game. Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
But the same question being asked bugs the hell out of me. And people and again, Now this isn't the dude because I'm not gonna knock anyone's hustle. People like the schmo getting to ask questions. I'm just like, God damn it. Like,
yeah, I know.
Bro, like I get it. Your act is tired as fuck and everything, but dude, please ask something else.
Well,
Do something different.
If you watch his podcast, he can't keep that act going for like an hour long. Like he has to kind of loosen up a bit and just kind of be himself. I was gonna say one more thing about the press conferences. I can't remember. What were we gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say with the schmo, it hurts to see a fellow Wildcat do shit like that.
Oh, he's a Wildcat.
He's an Arizona alum.
Okay, cool.
That's what I'll leave it at.
That dude, I think him and Ariel Helwani have more beef than like some of the fighters.
You know what, Schmo? If you're watching this shit, get in line, motherfucker. I called him out first. I've been wanting to fight Helwani.
I just remember what I remember what I was gonna say. One of the reasons I watch these press conferences, first of all, the post fights are not as fun anymore because they don't have like the entire group. It's now one by one. Because sometimes they would talk shit, but to my understanding, they stopped doing that because there were some fighters who waited their entire night to be a part of that and they got asked nothing.
No questions, yeah.
But the reason I watch it now is because of the dumb questions. Like there is some entertainment value in that. So, I mean, it's true.
No, the one last night that I didn't watch it live because the fights are still going on, but I caught the video afterwards and we'll talk about Weidman in a second because damn.
But oh my God.
Watching Anthony Smith's face when they told him that what happened on Weidman, you could feel the heartbreak in that man's face. Like those are some of those rare moments in post-fight pressers where you see some real emotion, you know what I'm saying? Some like real, like not real emotion, but some like a real moment, and you caught that live. The other one that I remember was they're asking Adesanya in the background about something, and it's when Masvidal landed that knee on Ben Askren, and Adesanya just flips out. That was like some of that real shit.
Hold on, I've always wanted to. I don't know if you know the answer to this. I know there are a couple of guys at Cage Side Press who are in the media, but. Are they doing press conferences during fights?
Yeah. So if you ever hit up Gabriel,
okay,
Gabriel Double G on TV.
Yeah.
When he goes to all these, he goes to a bunch of UFC cards, right?
Yeah.
But the fight happens, and then he goes to the back. They have fighters answering questions in the back during the fights. So,
I don't like that.
He does it all the time. I don't either. If I was covering the fights, I wouldn't like that either. And if and I don't know how it works if he goes by himself or he has a teammate. But if I was like sent down a UFC card, I'd have a really hard time leaving the event to go ask questions. I would be like, hey, I need one more other person then. So at least one of us gets to like go ask questions and one of us gets to watch.
Yeah, that I'd be interested because like I used to work for 610 Sports Radio here in Kansas City, and they would always try to have a team. Somebody goes to the home team locker room, and then someone goes to the visiting team. Because if you're covering the sport, you need to pay attention to the fight so you can ask questions. I don't know. Maybe that's why Dana White gets so many horrible questions post fight because those people cannot focus on the fights. So I don't know. I've always been curious about that because I always notice the upload times on YouTube. I'm like, wait, the fights are happening right now, and the press conference is also happening. So I've always wondered that.
They get these guys through as fast as they can for the same reason. They don't want the guy that fought first, doing the presser way too late.
Yeah,
that dude probably wants to go back to his hotel room and eat and chill out, or get tended to his injuries or whatever, or her injuries.
No, that makes 100% sense. But we got a little sidetracked there, but that's okay. This whole Covington and Usman. I mean, look, obviously the bitterness is there, and I'm sure the trash talk leading up to the fight is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But, man, I picked Covington to win last time because I don't recall that guy losing a round. Now, apparently he lost a couple of rounds to Usman, according to one judge. I did not think he did, but I think that's going to be – Usman is a much better fighter now, and that's natural if you keep defending your belt. And he has some TKO, KO finishes. How do you see this folding out? Because as much as I want to pick Covington, I feel like Usman is just going to be better prepared this time around.
How long Covington been out? He hasn't fought in a minute, right?
Ever since that title match loss to Covington, I think he just fought Woodley. I want to say it was last summer. I'll look that up real quickly.
Okay, so he hasn't fought since let's say last summer against Woodley, where we beat he broke Woodley's rib according to Woodley.
Yeah.
And I say according to Woodley because I never saw next year, and I'm sure he put one out, and I'm sure I'm full of shit, whatever. But
September of 2020.
Okay, so he hasn't been on the shelf that long. Okay, well that makes sense. I still think Usman's been like just coming off of what we did last night and the improvements that he's been showing. I think Covington is not going to have as good a fight as he did last time. I don't think. I'm not sure what Covington could do different than that would actually affect Usman. That being said, Covington's got the wrestling. He can definitely wrestle with Usman. It's the striking that I'm curious about. Well, Usman has. I mean, because Usman clearly got better. Now that I remember this from last night, Usman was throwing some looping hooks, some weird.
Yes.
Like
after Masvidal got up.
After some weird amateurish ass like loading up, and I was sitting there going like, he's got to be baiting, right? Is this a bait? It's got to be bait to get Masvidal to rush him, right? You throw a looping hook, Masvidal's gonna come in with something straight, maybe rush him, and like what's the game plan here? I'm hoping it was bait, and I'm hoping that wasn't just like a giant hole he just showed everybody, but that is something that was concerning to me. I don't know. I've been wanting to see Covington Usman too for a minute because I thought that first fight was really close.
Yeah.
And I really want to see that fight. Honestly, I'd have a hard time picking a winner on that one. But something that sticks out to me is Covington kind of going after Masvidal in social media. So he hasn't really been going after Usman too much. He was going after Masvidal. Yeah. I don't know if he thought Masvidal was going to win or if he'd rather fight Jorge instead of Usman, which I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Yeah, especially after last night. Yeah, they have some weird back and forth. They used to be good friends or whatever, and then I don't know what the whole thing with Colby
Do you think it's fake? I think it's fake.
Is what fake?
Their beef. I think they're bullshitting, both of them.
I don't know, man. Because a lot of people talk shit, but everybody has shook hands except for Khabib and Conor, and then Colby bolted out when he lost to Usman. Everyone else, they shake hands. Like even TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt after one of the press conferences, they were like chatting afterwards. So it's like I don't know. I don't think it's fake. There's definitely something real. I mean, Masvidal has had a lot to say about Covington, and same the other way around. I don't think it's fake.
Okay, well, because to me it just seems like you think they're playing. Every time I see either one of them talk shit, I'm like, Colby Covington is talking shit to the guy who served up Leon Edwards for looking at him wrong. He looked at him wrong, and then came up with his hands up a little bit. And Masvidal went up there with his hands behind him. In the back, you've seen the video. He's crack, right? That's all it took for Masvidal to throw hands on that dude. But Colby's going to post a bunch of crazy shit on social media and say all this nutty stuff, and Usman's not going to touch him? Come on, man. You know what I mean? So, look, either way, even if it's like orchestrated and they're like, hey, let's talk some shit back and forth, whatever, we'll sell this fight if it happens. It's going to be great. Even if that's what it is, great. Like, go get your money, boys. I fully support that.
I will say, I think a fight between Covington and Conor would be great. Covington's going to smoke him, but the trash talk leading up to it would be epic. Speaking of which,
I think Covington gets buried.
Oh, really? The trash talk or the actual fight?
In the trash talk. In the fight, I think Covington wins that shit. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree on both of those with you. Conor did call out Usman. Apparently, Usman copied a 1-2 from McGregor, which I guess McGregor invented a 1-2 jab. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But look, if you're going to fight Usman, if you're Conor McGregor, you better make drastic improvements with your cardio, and you better have a better takedown deal. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he did with Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz is great. I know you're as big of a fan as I am. I see that photo right behind you, but but Usman is just a way better wrestler than Nate Diaz. Usman will have his way with Conor if they ever fight.
badly. Like, it would be embarrassing. That being said, again, I said it a second ago, if it gets you boys paid and get your family taken care of, by all fucking means, I'll be watching. But, but still, like, yeah, dude, like that whole Connor copied one of my 1-2s. Well, then Connor, you copied one of my 1-2s, dude. What about that? How about that, bro? I think you had a camera down in Phoenix, Arizona, down in my gym where I was throwing 1-2s for hours trying to get that shit down. Like, you copied me, Connor.
Like, imagine a football player makes a one-handed touchdown grab and someone else does the same thing a week later. They're like, oh, you copied me. What the fuck?
Yeah, anyway. Totally on purpose.
God damn it. Look, I'm a huge fan of Rose Namajunas. I said for a long time, I said she will beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and she did twice. And the crazy thing about this girl is that she's never knocked anyone out before. But the 2 times she became a champion, she knocked out the champions, doing it to Joanna, actually knocking her down twice. And then with Wei Li, like that kick came out of nowhere. Kind of reminded me of the Ronda head kick in a way. Except this was very early in the fight, and people actually, I mean, a lot of people thought Wei Li was going to come away with a win. Rose is not that big at all, but I mean, Joanna, she's a much taller fighter. Wei Li is bigger. But Rose, man, she just finds a way to win. I really love this girl's style. I remember when she came to Kansas City and fought Karate Hottie, everybody was cheering for her. As soon as Rose went for that head kick, my dad and I were the only ones in our section that stood up and cheered, and she immediately went for that choke. I think she has the record for most finishes in the strawweight division, if I'm not mistaken. At this point,
she's got to at this point.
Like, this chick is good, and she doesn't really get that kind of credit, in my opinion.
She doesn't, and she should. In fact, the only time you ever hear about her is when she says some political shit and it blows up, and everyone gets in their feelings about that. First of all, please, people, don't politicize MMA. I don't. I was rooting for Jorge Masvidal last night, even though I picked Usman. I was rooting for Jorge because I enjoy watching Jorge, right? And I was rooting for Rose because I have been a Thug Rose fan since she started, since the flying armbar in Invicta years ago, where she trained an entire training camp, came into the fight injured as hell, and finished it with a flying armbar within minutes. Like, all that work for minutes, right? But I've been a fan of Thug, so I was like, everyone was like, oh, I can't believe she said that about, better dead than red and all that shit. I'm like, forget all that, focus on the fight. But she is different. I know everyone says that I'm different. No, she is legitimately different. Yeah. She's one of those champions who just looks for holes in her own game and patches them up. Yeah, when she came into this fight, we were talking about this fight last Wednesday, myself and Fred Kirby on Keyboard Warriors Live, and we were talking about who's going to win and whatnot. And I think we both picked Wei Li because of, like, it's very hard for, in fact, Rose is the first female to win her title back in UFC history. Mm-hmm. So me hanging on to that fact that, beforehand, I was like, no one's ever done it. Can she do it? Yeah. So I remember saying, I think Wei Li's going to win, but if anybody's going to beat Zhang Wei Li, it's Rose Namajunas, for the fact that she's got such a good camp behind her, such good coaching, and a good mind, and she believes in herself so much that she was able to take out Joanna twice. She was able to take out Karate Hottie. And then she took out she beat Andrade, right?
Yeah, and she avenged the loss. You're talking Rose, right?
Rose.
Yeah, she avenged the loss.
Okay, so she got that back. So in rematches, like, she's doing pretty well. But also when she faces someone like a Wei Li Zhang, like a Joanna, who's supposed to be this all-world beater, but has one big attribute. Like you were saying a second ago, Joanna, taller, longer, Muay Thai champion, right? Zhang Wei Li, bigger, stronger, hits like a truck. She's able to take on these girls who have one or two really big attributes and piece them up with her skill. Like, she comes into the fight light on her feet, left, right, in and out, like keeping Wei Li guessing. Wei Li started getting a little, you could tell she was getting a little frustrated with the movement, and then being there to the point where she left herself wide open. I don't even want to say wide open because it wasn't that wide open. That kick came out and no one thought it was going to go up the way it did. It was incredible. So no, man, Thunder Rose is just different, man. It's just, and I'm super happy to see her where she is. And dude, I don't know about you, but I got chills as she's walking out to the cage, and she's saying something. She's like mouthing something. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm the best. I'm the best. And a lot of people will see some shit like that and be like, oh, she's a weirdo. I'm like, dude, if you're walking to a title fight, you got the ice cold stare that she has, and you're saying, I'm the best. I'm the best. All the way to the bell ringing and starting the fight.
She's never done that before a fight.
No, before the last few fights she's done, like she'll say like the Lord's Prayer, like she did against Joanna.
Yes.
Joanna calls herself the book woman, cussing around, saying a bunch of shit, and she's just like, Our Father who art in heaven. You know what I mean, like she's like the Lord's Prayer in front of there. I'm like, yo, that just creeped me the fuck out. If I'm Joanna, I'm a little mind fucked right now. Like,
Joanna's like, Boogie Woman is coming for you, Rose. And then Joe Rogan's interviewing her during the weigh-ins or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Rogan's like, oh, you're still talking to her. What are you saying? I'm saying the Lord's Prayer. And Rogan's like, doing his cool Rogan shit. Look.
That's some cool shit, dude. Like, yo, that's like, was it Pulp Fiction? Samuel L. Jackson's character, every time he's about to fuck somebody up, he reads out like a Bible verse off the top of his head. And he's like, and he strikes down with furious anger. I'm like, that is some cold shit.
By the way, I see a couple of you guys asking questions in the comments on the Facebook page because we're streaming this live on Facebook. We'll get to your questions later on. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, man, I mean, Rose is she's a smaller fighter. And look, because she's got shorter hair and everything, you would think she'd be a much easier to market. And maybe if she does have like a long title run, maybe they can do that with her. Cause I think she can be a fighter that a lot of people could get behind. Like, and look, she doesn't go out there and she doesn't talk shit. So I guess those guys are not easy to market. Look at Demetrius Johnson. The guy never talked about, someone else's wife or mother. Like the guy just showed up, fought like a man, and got out of there. So those guys, unfortunately, don't get the big coverage.
Right.
So I don't know. I hope they can do something with her because she's awesome.
The thing with her, when she had hair, when she first came in, I mean, she's still a good, really beautiful woman, right? Like, still now. Like when she had hair, like they marketed the hell out of her though. Like she's super cute, the hair was there, she had the makeup and everything was perfect. And like they had her in that for the Tough series where she came in, they had like that gif where she was in a dress and then she would throw a kick, like a spin kick, and then all of a sudden, the graphics would change and she'd be in her fight gear. Like they used to market her a little bit. She shaved her head and they stopped. And it's just like, okay, I get it. You don't think she appeals, I guess, but she's a great example for young women everywhere. Like she's a great example of what a woman can accomplish if she puts her mind to it. And anybody can accomplish, mind you. But specifically, like if you have a daughter and you want, hey, look, little thug Rose, little unassuming thug Rose that has anxiety issues and real world life, real world problems, and literally didn't fight because this douchebag threw a fucking dolly through a window, like stuff like that. Like she has real issues.
I love how you worded that, by the way.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. Anyway, I think even his fans would admit it. But you know what I mean? Like that, she's an example. If you have a daughter, she's got every young woman grows up with their own issues. You'd be like, hey, she did it, you can do it, right? You would think you would market her in a positive way, but instead we're marketing, and again, not knocking her hustle. Before anyone gets on me about it, I'm not knocking her hustle, but Valerie Loretta is more known for shaking her ass than her fighting. Can we be honest about that for a second? She is marketable because of that, for example, right? Yeah. And so, mind you, she's a badass fighter. Like, holy shit, Valerie Loretta can crack. I can't wait to see her fight some, keep moving up in Bellator. Hopefully they give her like a really hard fight sometime soon, and she can earn her title shot in Bellator and maybe even come to the UFC. But it's a weird, marketing is a weird monster by itself, man. And like in the UFC, who do we see female wise that they market? Because even Amanda Nunes doesn't get as much push as she should. No. She has like one beer commercial.
No, you're absolutely not wrong about that. I mean, I feel like Holly Holm got a lot of marketing, but I think it's because she beat Ronda. Um, it's funny. Somebody on Twitter joined in on a conversation I was having with someone, and they said, "Oh, Valentina Shevchenko is a star. You guys don't know what you're talking about." No, there's a difference between a great fighter and a star. Valentina Shevchenko is not a star. The UFC doesn't market her as one. You just go ask any casual, who's the women's flyweight champion. They couldn't tell you who it is. You ask who the women's flyweight champion has been since Joanna. I don't think a lot of people could tell you.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky situation there. I get you cannot market everybody. So that's out of my realm, but I get it. The shit talkers, the ones who are, I guess, more out there, they're the ones that get the most attention.
I mean, I mean, shit. Like right now, 145 champion. I asked one of my friends who's very much casual. He knows all the champions, right? That's what he say. I know everyone that's champion of UFC. I'm like, all right, cool. Who's the featherweight champ? Oh shit! Hold up. Is it the Hawaiian, right?
The Hawaiian.
No. The Hawaiian got that stolen from him. That's my personal opinion. We can talk about it later. But I'm like, no. What's his last name? The guy's last name. He's like, oh, nah, dude. I'm like, do you know anyone by the name Volkanovski? He goes, who the fuck is that? I'm like, right. Like the shit talkers don't like. He's not a shit talker. That guy just shows up to fight too.
Well, here's another thing, just in like marketing, that's one issue with the UFC, but I'm on their website right now looking at the strawweight division.
Yeah.
Weili is still the champion on their website.
Yeah, they wait till Monday to change that shit. They should do it right away, but they wait till Monday.
To do that right away. Because I don't know, they have some weird glitch on their website. The number one ranked fighter is blank. That's supposed to be Rose, but she's not on this list. So I don't know. They've got some issues with their website. But anyway,
UFC, hire me. UFC, hire me. I will fix all your shit.
$4.2 billion sell, and they can't do any of that. But no, I'm happy for Rose. She's a great fighter, very underrated in my opinion, and there was not a doubt in my mind she'd win. Winning like that so early. That was unexpected to me.
Very much unexpected. I thought if she won that fight, it was going to be in the third, fourth round, because I thought Weili was not going to be able to chase Rose around for 3-4 rounds and not get gassed the hell out.
Yeah,
she was going to get super tired. And if Joanna could take, Joanna probably took like the fourth round, fifth round when her and Weili fought. What do you think? She took the fifth round.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I thought Weili won the fight though.
Oh, for sure. Weili definitely won the fight. But I mean, like, I think it was near the end of the fight, Weili started slowing down big time, or what I thought was big time. And so going off of that too, I thought Rose doesn't ever get tired. She could use that. So we'll see. But I thought she was going to win that fight at the end of the fight. Or if she won the fight, it was going to be near the end of the fight.
I do want to ask you about Valentina. Well, I don't have much to say. First, two things, and both very quick. Valentina is great. Okay, there's no question about it. I'm a huge Amanda Nunes fan. I think that Valentina did win that fight, that rematch that they had. But the other thing is, look, Jessica Andrade is tough and she is good. I don't want to, say she's not. But this is a former strawweight fighting a former bantamweight. And look, weight classes, do they mean anything? I don't know. GSP lost to a former lightweight once, and GSP still found a way to beat Michael Bisping, who was a former light heavyweight. Because I remember Bisping on his podcast was like, oh, GSP lost to Matt Serra once. I'll be just fine. Well, we saw how that panned out. I don't know, man. I just felt like there was such a massive size difference between the two, and Valentina's a beast. I think it was Gabriel who even asked, she goes, was that easy? Because it looked easy. It's like, yeah, it did look easy.
Dude, Valentina takes, you see that meme, the Michael Jordan meme where I took it personal. The entire lead up to this fight, mind you, not many people were talking about this fight at all.
No.
Like, I think we all knew what was going to happen, but we just didn't know it was going to happen the way it did. But I think, like, Valentina, heard just a few people say, well, Andrade she's Brazilian. She's got she's got jiu-jitsu and all that. She's definitely got the leg up on the ground game, right? And Valentina took that personally and spent the entire fight taking her ass down. Like, and then to finish it in crucifix was like, whew,
yeah,
that is beautiful. So, and at the end of the fight, she basically says, like, for anyone trying to find weaknesses, there are none. Like, whoo, shit.
Well,
not only is she a badass, she's confident now.
Oh yeah, very. Here's my thing, and it's not Valentina's fault.
No.
My thing is, I just don't look forward to a lot of her fights, and I don't know if it's because the flyweight. I don't want to say the flyweight division is new because we've had some fighters for a while now, but I guess is the top five there? Is that a valid top five? I feel like this division is still kind of finding its identity, in my opinion. Because let's be honest, we don't know who the big star is. I mean, I know a lot of people said Paige Van Zandt, but I think it's more because of her looks than anything. She's a very overrated fighter. I know she's not there now, but she was like the most talked about flyweight when that division came out. I don't know. I just never look forward to Valentina's fights because I know what's going to happen. And look, everyone thought Ronda was invincible. Everyone's beatable. But I don't know. In that division, I just don't see a challenge for her.
There isn't. And I know 125 was made to let strawweights come up and bantamweights come down, and it has not mattered. Like who did she fight? Shevchenko fought either Maya or Chukagian last.
I think it was Chukagian, because I remember the running joke was Chukagian took out her frustration on Shevchenko's sister.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly right. So when she fought Chukagian, I heard about the matchup. I was like, oh God, it's gonna be a murder. And she beat her ass. Like it was as bad. So you're right. There's not a lot to look forward to because there's no real challenges. Everybody wants Nunes. Everybody wants to see them in this Nunes.
Oh, everyone does, except for Dana White, at least last night. By the way, just to correct myself, she beat Jessica Andrade. The previous fight was Jennifer Maia, and then before that, it was Caitlin Chukagian. So yeah, there's that. I mean, Liz Carmouche, a good fighter, but number one is Shevchenko, and then number two is whoever you want to say is number two. There is a big gap between one and two in that division. Yeah.
There's the call. There's a call to see Shevchenko Nunes, and there's only a few whispers I've seen to see Rose move up. That would interest me deeply. I don't know if I would pick Rose in that fight, but I also didn't pick her in this fight.
I'm a big Rose fan. I would not pick her against Shevchenko.
Yeah, dude, but
I don't think they'll fight. Aren't they best friends?
They train together.
Yeah. There's always like this running rule, like, friends don't fight friends unless, there's no one else left in the division.
Right.
So I don't know. Man, this was kind of a bad night for legs or leg injuries in specific. The first one wasn't brutal. What was the fighter's name against Anthony Smith?
Jimmy Crute.
Crute. He had kind of a rough one there. He was trying to, tough it out, but there's a reason why they have doctors there. I don't have too much to say about that one, but the Weidman one, man, look, this guy had a remarkable career. He pulled off one of the biggest upsets against Anderson Silva. Ironically, in the rematch, Silva snapped his leg against him, and then all of a sudden he loses the belt to Luke Rockhold in December of 2015. He's only won twice since then. What's his record? He was 13-0. Ever since his 13-0 career unbeaten record, he's lost 6 of his last 8, including this leg injury here. From late 2015 all the way through almost mid 2021, he's only won twice. And listen, I know Dana White was asked this and he doesn't want to speculate, but it is kind of reality. It's like, can this guy, considering his age and how much he's struggled lately, can he come back from this? I don't know. Listen, Alex Smith, the leg injury that he had in Washington, like that was really scary to see. And for him to come back even and be able to play it out and even led Washington, the division was horrible, but still led Washington to a playoff appearance. That was great to see. Can Chris Weidman do the same thing in a much more physical sport? I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on that?
So, Jesus, I still replay it in my head because I watched it like 30 times because it's one of those morbid things where you can't stop watching it.
No.
But his leg hits and it wraps around Hall's leg. And then he brings it back. So when you throw a kick, for anyone who doesn't know, when you throw a kick, when you land it, you don't just go through the leg. You push off their leg to reset, get back in the stance. So you crack, push it off, and come back. He cracked, pushed off, it wrapped around. He pushed off, came back, did not know it was broken until he tried to step on it.
Like, yeah, that was scary.
Damn. So that was bad. So he drops. When you see it, like you speak about, you talk about Alex Smith. Alex Smith almost died. He almost died from that shit. He got an infection. It was real nasty for him in it there. Like watching Weidman go, the second that snap hit and he hit the ground and the fight was called, I was like, get his ass to a hospital. They might have to save that leg or that foot. Like that's a nasty break. They did the same thing to Silva. They rushed his ass to the hospital. Now, when Silva came back, he was never the same, right?
No.
When he fought Weidman, like after he got knocked out by Weidman, he lost a little bit. When he broke his leg against Weidman, he lost what it seemed like to be the rest of it. Any kind of invincibility. I don't think he ever finished anybody ever again. I think he might have won one fight or two.
Yeah, he won a fight that a lot of people were surprised that judges gave it to him.
Yeah. So, so there you go. So like, but do I think Chris Weidman can do it? I think he's gonna try. I think a guy like Chris Weidman is not gonna just like let that happen and let that be the end of his story. I just don't know if he'll be able to pull it off. That was nasty. So he had surgery according to Dana White.
Yes.
Me. I'm just kidding. Per me seeing it in the post-fight interview.
Yeah.
Give me credit. But he had surgery this morning. So I'm hoping everything went well and everything. So, but dude, like, was he 37, 36, whatever he is? He's 36 anymore. Yeah, he's still a monster. He's still one of those guys that in the gym is unbeatable. Even Anthony Smith will tell you that. But in the cage, obviously, it's different. So I felt, first of all, I feel bad for both guys. Adam or Uriah Hall. If you remember, this is the same guy who lost a lot of his whatever it factor when he spinning heel kicked Adam. Forgot his last name, but the dude on Tough. When he hit that dude and sent him to the hospital, you remember that highlight, right? Even it was Chael versus Jones, the Ultimate Fighter.
Okay. I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now. It's I was not following MMA at the time, so but yeah, that was Adam Sella.
Adam Sella, yeah. Uriah Hall throws a spinning back heel kick, cracks him. Dude goes frozen, drops, and then his breathing like freaks out. Like he starts like hyperventilating on the ground. Hall stands over there and his face is like, did I just kill him, man? After that, like Uriah Hall is supposed to be the next Anderson Silva in the UFC, and he hasn't been that, right? Like he was phenomenal in the Ultimate Fighter series until that fight. And then Gastelum beat him in the final, and then he's gone off to have an okay career since then. But he had that same exact look on his face yesterday, man. That was tough to see. So, hoping for the best of Weidman and his family, and hopefully, I would love to see him come back. Like, okay, I know before this fight, I was like, I'm done with Chris Weidman. Stop getting your ass beat, stop getting mauled in there and everything. But for him to come back, at least fight one more time coming off his injury, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, the middleweight, that was a middleweight fight, by the way, last night, correct?
Middleweight fight, yeah.
Okay, because I know Weidman's been kind of jumping up and down a bit with light heavyweight and middleweight, but I don't know. The landscape of the middleweight division has changed ever since GSP won and retired. I mean, Bisping's no longer here. Mousasi's no longer in it. What is Rockhold? Is Rockhold still alive?
He's alive. He's okay. Training somewhere. He was you see that video of Bisping going into the gym and Rockhold's hitting the bag and Bisping starts playing with Rockhold's dog.
Yeah, and then they like shook hands and shit. I was like, oh wow, that's
they got over it.
See, everyone shakes hands except for Conor and Khabib. Everyone. But yeah, I mean the middleweight division is so much different now. I mean, you have some damn good fighters there. I don't know what his plan is. I hope he comes back. I mean, it's the same to me, but just if I was in his shoes, it's like, man, is it worth it to come back anymore? I don't know. You know what's so weird is these undefeated fighters, they'll have this like long stretch and then they struggle. Like Henry Cejudo was undefeated and then struggled for a bit. Ronda Rousey was undefeated and then lost the next 2 fights. Holly Holm, I think Holly Holm is still kind of recovering since her undefeated run.
Sure.
Weidman, I don't know. Like, is it a good thing to be undefeated? Because, and look, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Israel Adesanya, he just lost for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to continue? I hope not. But man, what is it with these undefeated guys?
I don't know. I mean, you either, what was that saying? Like you either die the good guy, you live long enough to become the villain or whatever, that kind of thing. Like with being undefeated, like Khabib bailed out. He's like, I'm 29-0. Peace. Now he might come back, who knows? But he was like, I'm undefeated. I'm out of here. But psychology is very important in athletics, in all sports. Yeah. I mean, we've seen a quarterback, Sam Darnold, gets drafted by the Jets. He's great at USC, has all the mechanics, is everything you want in a prototypical quarterback, goes to the Jets, and somehow everyone calls him trash, and then he gets traded to the Panthers. Like, Sam Darnold should still be a Jet, and then she got a real coaching staff behind him, and he would have been good. Like, I still stand behind the fact that Sam Darnold was good. The problem is they massacred his confidence, right? The way I see it. In Arizona, Josh Rosen, massive dick, but just an asshole. But and I can say that I'm a Cardinal fan. But he comes in with all this fake ass bravado and confidence. Supposedly, turns out has no confidence. Gets beat up for most of the season. Now he's like the 4th quarterback on the Niners roster. Who else are we looking for here? Like all these guys. Matt Leinart. There you go. Best example.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Leinart, drafted number 10. All right, not a guy that throws a deep ball, but accurate and smart in the pocket for the most part. Comes in and he was in Tennessee a little while ago. Our head coach was fuck that dude. I can't believe we
Ken Wisenhunt.
Wisenhunt asked him to throw the deep ball. Like 10 interceptions later, and you wonder why Leinart sucks. Like what the fuck? Like what are we doing? So in MMA, if you're Ronda Rousey, you keep telling everybody, I'm gonna retire undefeated. I'm gonna be the greatest ever. Sure, self-affirmations are awesome and they're great in the mirror in the morning before you head to work, not to the media where it can bite you in the ass. In a sport where everybody loses, other than Khabib, everybody loses. So she gets knocked out. Confidence is out the window. Comes back. I guess I gotta fight again. When Nunes wins the belt, thinks she's gonna beat her, and then it didn't work out. Because she fought. Yeah, she fought Nunes. Like, I guess I got to come back. And I'm like, I remember Dana White said that in the post fight after Nunes got the belt off of Tate.
Miesha Tate.
Yeah. After you got Dana was like in the back going, Ronda texted me a little bit ago. I guess I got to get back and train. As soon as I read that, I saw that. I was like, Nunes is gonna fuck Ronda up. Like, badly gonna fuck her up.
Well, who was it? Was it Joe Rogan that week? Leading up. So Ronda, I guess, was like in the best shape of her life. If you look at the Sports Illustrated cover the week she made her return, I mean, you can see a big difference in her body. And she looked great. And I remember, I think it was Joe Rogan who was like, oh man, she could fight Floyd Mayweather. And this was back when like Conor was trying to get that fight. And it's like, let's see her beat Amanda Nunes first, for crying out loud. But yeah, no, I don't know what it is, but hopefully Chris Weidman can come back strong from that, because that is I agree with you. Like the snap was bad, the planting the leg, oof, that's
that was worse. Yeah,
that that is when I turn my head away. I can watch a gruesome injury. That right there, that was.
Dude, I saw that and I thought Alex Smith and I thought Joe Namath and I thought Anderson Silva. Yep. I was like, oh god, that was bad. And real quick on Joe Rogan. I get it, man. Like, he's fun. I enjoy him. I really do. And I get people that criticize him and don't like him for a bunch of reasons. All right. But I would love to have him in my friend circle, because you can imagine you're sitting down with that dude. Everyone's high as shit or drinking beers or whatever. And he's going to say some wild shit. And everyone's going to look at him like, you're that fucking guy, dude. Like, you're that guy. I want that guy in my group friend circle, because that guy's a lot of fucking fun. So relax, people. Stop taking Rogan so goddamn seriously. And just enjoy the personality. That's what he's there for.
No, I mean, when it comes to like anything, whether it's MMA, politics, life, whatever, I really do appreciate Joe Rogan's commentary. I don't know why.
Yeah.
like, I don't get worked up over anything he says. I mean, there are a lot of stupid shit a lot of people say.
Dude, oh my God, he had Alex Jones on the show. I can't believe he had a right winger on the show when he brings the one-eye patch motherfucker. I can't believe he had so-and-so on the show. He's such a right winger. Meanwhile, right wingers think he's a fucking lefty. I'm like,
yes,
dude, he can't make anyone happy. He cannot make anyone happy.
Dude, when I like talk about politics, like, I don't, you know me, man, I don't like both sides, and I've made my stance against Trump, but it's like I've had that too, where people are like, "Oh, you are a Trump supporter. Oh, you're a liberal who loves looting." It's like, shut up.
Yeah, no, dude, I do that shit too. I never got that kind of shit, because I do the morning toke, which is almost, it's MMA is in there, but I talk about whatever the fuck I want. And people came at me like, "Oh, I can't believe you're a Republican." And I go, "When the fuck did I say that?" And then Republicans will be like, "Oh, you liberal, fucking pussy, you're a liberal." I'm like, "When the fuck did I say that?" You know, so I remember on an episode I said, "I'm the guy you don't want to piss off. You know who I'm the guy who just wants to be left the fuck alone. All right, just leave me alone. I'm cool. I'm not gonna politicize shit. I don't give a fuck. Leave me alone." Well, I'm in the middle, bro.
I've never understood the hate for him or Luke Thomas. I think they both have an open mind and say a lot of valid stuff. But
shit, Luke is fucking talented. Luke is a smart analyst. He's not even a fighter.
Yeah, that dude is actually not just with fight. Like, honestly, if Luke had an MMA podcast, a sports podcast that discusses everything but MMA, and a political podcast, I would listen to all three of them.
I listen to his shit all the time, dude. Yeah. Okay. Except for the morning combat. I can't, whoever his guest host is, oh my God, Campbell. Shut the fuck up, bro. I can't deal with you, Campbell. Like, Luke gives his eloquent, incredibly detailed analysis of whatever, football, politics, MMA, whatever.
Do you have Sirius XM?
I do not. I do not, but one of my coworkers does, and so he puts that shit on his computer.
So I love Sirius XM. And that Fight Nation channel they have. I mean, Ryan McCannell, who does MMA Today. It used to be called MMA Tonight. I've had him on. Super nice guy. Jimmy Smith replaced Luke Thomas, and he's doing good. But man, that channel it's good. It just hasn't been the same since Luke left. Like, Luke talked about a lot of non-MMA topics on his his radio show. In my opinion, that was the best radio show Sirius XM had.
Dude, I used to listen. I don't know if he still has it. He doesn't still have the chat, right? Or like once in a while he has
once in a while, yeah, I think.
Dude, when he had it every week, I was on that every week. And it was, I always laugh, people, "Oh, fuck Luke Thomas." I'm like, okay, like whatever. The one guy I won't listen to ever is Hawani. I can't do it.
Hawani, he'll have some good moments and some bad moments.
I just can't do it.
Anyway. So Luke said, I remember on his radio show when he left, he said he's going to CBS Sports. I have not seen anything with him on CBS Sports. Have you?
Me neither. Nope. No, I haven't seen him on Showtime.
Okay. Yeah, Showtime.
Because he covers Bellator.
I don't know, man. That dude needs to be back at radio, and they need to pay him more because whatever he's doing, I'm not a fan of. Yeah. But anyway, my point is, like, Luke Thomas went on Rogan's podcast. People were like, "Oh, I hate these two." I'm like, so what? Don't listen.
Don't listen.
You know, and I'll complain about like reporters like Fox News or CNN who spread fake shit. It's like, yeah, the reason I complain about them is because they're talking about serious issues and they're spreading fake news out there. Like complaining about that and complaining about a podcast are two different things, but I digress. Anyway, man, let's get to a couple questions because I got to get going. And I know you do as well. A couple questions on the Facebook chat. Yvonne posted and said, "This card was crazy. It was nice to see fans back. They were crazy, but they were calling the man during the fight." I guess he's talking about Jake Paul. They were calling, I don't know what he means by calling, but they were chanting "fuck Jake Paul" several times. You and I talked about this before we started recording. The other question from Tyler actually has to do with Jake Paul. What do you think of Dana's comments after the event in the press conference, talking about Ben Askren and Jake Paul numbers being BS? Let's talk about the crowd first, which was awesome. It was cool to see. Look, I mean, I don't know what everyone has their own stance on this. I do as well. if you're vaccinated, cool. I think no one's going to get hurt by this. There are a lot of weird theories out there that are unproven regarding this vaccine, such as your right to vote is going to be taken away. Well, I've been fully vaccinated for a full week. I can confirm to you, none of my rights have been taken. I did have some chills and a sore shoulder, but my right to vote has not been taken away. My Second Amendment, I still have that. Still have some other rights, all of them, in fact. Listen, Dana White said it perfectly. You can wear a mask or you cannot, and people seem to have fun there. That's what's most important. When you're paying a lot of money in UFC, you know this, man. UFC events are pretty fucking expensive. If you go there, you better have a damn good time. And everyone over there seemed like they were having a lot of fun. And why wouldn't you? There was everything last night. I know the Weidman injury, that's not typical, but that is part of fighting. And that's you get to say, man, we were there and we reacted to this. We saw all these knockouts, man.
Yeah.
I wish I was at that event. So look, it was cool to see the crowd back. I don't know anyone who would go against that.
No, it was other than like I said, the wooing, and that's kind of it. I can't fucking see. Look, I watched wrestling growing up. I loved Ric Flair. Let him fucking do the woo. All right, assholes. Don't bring his shit. And honestly, it only bothers me because I would do live tweets. I actually mute the TV because I don't want to hear the commentary and start typing what the fuck they're saying. So I mute the TV. I usually have some music on in the background, and I just do that. But with the crowd itself, that was great. It was good to see great. Like, can you imagine the Masvidal knockout without the crowd?
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's it, right? As far as what Dana White said with in regards to COVID and all stuff and wearing a mask, he's right. All right, I get it. New Zealand, everyone in New Zealand got their heads out of their asses, got together, and be like, hey, we're all gonna shut down for 2 weeks. No one's gonna do shit. We're gonna kill this thing, and then we're gonna be able to go watch rugby with no mask in a full stadium way before we did anything. Cool, that worked out. We're in a country where you get that choice, though.
Yeah. Dan Hooker, he had to quarantine for a long time after his loss to Michael Chandler.
I was heartbroken for that man, dude. He didn't get to see his kids for like a month.
He took a selfie and they're like, it's almost like you're in jail. Like there's this separator or something. You look, man, I've never pretended to be some expert or some scientist. But I do have common sense, man. Like going back to this pandemic, just real quickly, in my opinion, when you saw California do their 2-week stay-at-home order, and then you saw New York, and then you saw Chicago, and then everyone at different times, this had to happen all at the same time.
Right.
Some people started 2 weeks after another, and then everyone extended. Look, if everyone did this at the same time, I think we could have done a lot better with this, but I think all these politicians, both left and right, they all failed us. And then they fought over this.
They politicized it.
Yeah.
They politicized it immediately. So I was like, as usual, fucking politics ruins everything. But luckily, we're at the point with the whole vaccine again. Like I have friends that will refuse to get the vaccine. I know, I have family members that refuse to get it. I'm like, cool, I got it. You know why? Because my wife's a nurse and she's a medical professional and she has way more degrees than I do. Like way more degrees than I do. Okay, I got one. She's got like 7. And then like
Bruce Banner almost.
Right, yeah. And so and she deals, and her close friends are medical doctors, people that were involved in the studies for the vaccine. And they told her, like, hey, go get that shit. This is good. Her word is enough for me, dog.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you the last question from Tyler about Dana White pretty much saying that the Ben Askren Logan Paul numbers are bullshit. I don't know how he knows this. He said this about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. He's like, no, the numbers were way bigger than what they're reporting. I'm like, how does he know? Like, if they're like, why is everyone reporting a different number than you? I don't know.
Right. Now, I don't know if because the number I heard was 1.3 million, but that was put out there by Jake Paul, who gains from an inflated number, right? Yeah. So how would Dana White know? Dana White's connected to all the fight game, dude. He's got moles everywhere if he wants them. So I believe him when he says that it wasn't 1.3 million. My faith in humanity would hope that it wasn't 1.3 million, because in that case, a lot of kids got their parents to pay for bullshit. But
They're kids.
Oh, bro, come on. Okay,
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, Jake Paul's fan base is children. Can we understand that, people? His fan base is not adults. Okay, it's children with daddy's credit card. That's literally what it was.
I was looking this up this morning. I know nothing about the Paul brothers. The first time I heard of Logan Paul was the Suicide Forest thing, and then I was looking at his. My
kids had to tell me about the Paul brothers.
I was looking at his YouTube, like the 5 of the 6 most recent videos are about Pokemon cards.
Yep.
So I'm not quite sure. Listen, I was a Pokemon man when I was a kid and all that, but I don't really know how much interest I have in seeing someone talk about Pokemon cards. That's just.
I mean, all those YouTube boxing ones when he fought the other YouTube guy, and he fought Nate Robinson, who was 40 and mostly out of shape at that point. Just still big. Like that dude's fan base was just the kids tuning in and watch the fight, dude. Like that's all it was. Like my oldest watched the Nate Robinson, the Jake Paul fight, right? My 2 oldest, they're my stepkids. They were, they're out in college now, but they watched that shit. They texted me, "Oh, you gonna watch the Jake Paul fight?" I'm like, "The who, the what, the fuck happened? What happened?" Like Jake Paul's fighting Nate Robinson. I'm like, I know Nate Robinson. Why the hell is Nate Robinson boxing? Why? No, I don't want to see that. Yeah, right. So, but as far as like with Dana White saying the numbers aren't real, I believe him. That being said, I also agree with Dana White saying that, hey man, that kid, he's getting paid. Because I said it last time. I'm like, Ben Askren and Jake Paul suckered a lot of people into paying a lot of money to watch bullshit. Like even fights aside, if you had paid $50 to watch a bunch of musical acts and you ended it with Justin Bieber's voice cracking like he was going through puberty again,
Christ,
that was terrible. The whole broadcast was terrible.
Well, that MC was like, "Oh, the moment you've been waiting for, Justin Bieber," and I'm like, "Thank God I'm streaming this."
Yeah, I didn't pay for that shit. But in fact, I was going back and forth between the UFC and that, and I literally the only fight I watched was that one, the Askren Paul one. But I've never been annoyed by Snoop Dogg until that. Like Snoop, bro, please. Stop.
Look, man. In like 2005, 2006, 2007, there were like only a dozen YouTubers like Philip DeFranco and Dave Days, Shay Carl, and I tried to do the whole YouTube thing. I know, but I tried to do the whole YouTube thing by talking about sports, and that never even. I got like 5 views, and it was like, "Oh, you're a hater." If I knew I could make millions of dollars doing YouTube videos about Pokemon cards or whatever Logan Paul does, I would have done this a long time ago. But I guess there's a market for that, and people don't realize how to take advantage of that. But hey, good on them. They're finding a way to make money, man, and they're doing it.
I even said it about the nose when he got to ESPN. I'm like, yep, he smashed a lot of other people's dreams and stole and lied his way to the fucking top. But he could take care of his family that way. Get the hustle on, Hawani. I can't stand you. Fuck you. But get your work on.
Real quickly before you go, how can people follow your work, all the podcasts, all the blogs you do? Share that quickly.
All right. KeyboardWarriorsMMA.com will get you all the shows, and Twitter for the shows at KeyboardMMA, and for my personal Twitter is at ELAW32. And you can just go on there, and I'm constantly tweeting all the shit that I put out constantly. In fact, I probably annoy the fuck out of people, but yeah, that's how you can find me.
All right, there it is. Eddie Law. Thank you so much, man. I always love having you on. We'll have to do this again sometime.
It's always fun to appreciate you having me on.
All right, Eddie Law. Go check him out. Go check out all of his podcasts and his blogs there. Appreciate you guys downloading and listening to this podcast. Appreciate those of you who submitted questions and watched live. We'll be back later. I'll be on vacation in the next month, and also my birthday's next month. So not a lot of podcasts will be out next month, but I'll keep you guys up to date on social media. Other than that, subscribe to the podcast, share the links with your friends. Other than that, enjoy your week. I will talk to you guys then. Take care.